Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and here is a little bit of a yarny chat video. As I've said before, I didn't get too much crocheting done this weekend, or this week, because of working and after school activities. But I did finish one thing, and this is my finished object right here. I frogged my husband's scarf and I made it narrower because I felt like that other one, as you saw in the Thursday's video, was a little wide, plus I ran out of yarn to make it long enough. So by taking a few stitches out, I was able to make it a little longer. And here are his mittens buttoned to the end of his scarf. There's one. And here is the other. I mean, I really have no frame of reference to compare, to know what to do, but I basically, here, I'll take it off for you. I basically found these super cute little toggle buttons. They're like decorations. If you hold it, you can't really tell. They're like a brown, dark wood pattern. And I just sewed them right here in the first row. And then, like I said, for his scarf, I made it with using the NP Purple Clover More, so that my holes in the scarf would be big enough to stick a button through. And that is what I did. I don't know how he's gonna want to do these, but that's what I did. Got her in there. So there it is. So here are his mittens hanging from his scarf. There it is. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Well, there it is. So that's all. That is what my one finished object is. Okay, so here are my whips. I have fallen off the bandwagon, folks. First of all, I'm having a hard time with buying too much yarn, and I'm also got more than one whip going, which is usually a no-no for me. I like to finish something and then work on something else. So the first thing is, I still have one more coaster to make with my darn good yarn. I can't find the ball. I lost it. I have not finished that, so I still only have 3 coasters, and that's sitting over there next to the jar that I covered with crochet. So hopefully I'll get that done. It really will only take me like 5 minutes. I don't know why I'm not doing it. The next whip that I have is my knit crate. What is this shawl called, or this cowl? The Shift. It's the Shift cowl. And I have done nothing on it since I last talked to y'all because I need to frog it. Although I've gotten a very good idea from quite a few subscribers here, and that is, I'm going to frog it all, rewind them on their own balls, and it's not that big a deal. I've only done my rows of ribbing and then 2 rows of pattern, and that took me like an hour to do that to begin with. But what they said is take your yarn, wrap it around 10 times, and that is approximately how much yarn you'll need for 10 stitches, and then do multiples of 10. So because I need 96, I'm going to wrap it 10 times, take that amount, pull it out 9 times, add a little bit extra for the 6, and that should be what I need for a long tail cast on. So we're going to see how that works, and then I will get cracking on that. Honestly, you guys, this is my next thing I'm going to work on. This whole thing about working on this knitting at school has not worked out at all this week. I've had so much going on at school that I have not had any. I've been going in early to get my work done. And so when it came to my lunch break, I didn't have any time to knit. So that's kind of fallen by the wayside. My other project that I was working on a little bit after school each day is another scrap blanket. Now this is straight up ugly scrap stars. Whatever little balls I had, here's Flinny, I just put in a bag, and actually what I had my middle son do for me is I had him put them in order from smallest to largest, and so that is what I've got each of these stars, for the most part, there's a couple that overlap. And I mean, man, this is ugly. I mean, start right there in the middle. Purple, blue, orange, rainbow. And that's what it is. I also messed up on this. So if you watch Debbie, the Canadian Crocheter, she makes a super cute daisy pillow, and then she realized that she accidentally made too many petals. Well, I decided apparently to make a Jewish star. I have a 6-point star. And you know what? That's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to frog it at this point. I'm okay with it. So I'm just going to keep going, but I have ran out of little balls. So I'm putting that in Ella's llama bag. And next time I have a little bit of a scrap left, I'm going to throw it in here. And then when I have a few of them in there, I'll work on that. So this is a whip that's going to just be going probably until it doesn't fit into this bag anymore. And then what else do I have? Ooh, the most exciting thing. Here is a new shawl. I was actually going to look through my old videos to find out, try to remember who sent me this yarn. One of you wonderful folks sent me this ombre, Super Saver ombre in the colorway deep teal, and a red heart, I forgot what it was called. So if you know who you are, or if all of you remember who it was, I started making this shawl. I'll move it in for you to see. And this leads to the next thing that I was going to tell you. But first, let's talk about this shawl. I'll put a link in the description because this is a free pattern, and it's called Erigeneia. I don't know if I said that right. There it is. And it's by Silky Torhorst. I can't read today. Anyway, it's beautiful. Now, she did not use this yarn. She used, when she made this beautiful pattern, she used approximately 820 yards of Woollium 4-ply in the colorway Sony, S-O-N-N-E, Sony, and it's a 50 cotton, 50 polyacrylic. I am using this yarn because I found a new gal. Actually, Debbie, I guess, has been watching her, and when I went to go comment on one of her videos, Laurel also had commented on her video. So a few of you already know about Jenn's Crafty World. Well, she made this with the Red Heart Ombre, but it was like a pinky purpley, pinky magenta one. And hers was huge. So this is going to make up big. I don't remember if she said she used two skeins of yarn or not. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to use the one. I'm just going to use the one skein. So that's what I'm making with my ombre. And so, I mean, I just really love this pattern. It is, up here, it goes from a shell, or a double crochet, to a shell, to a section of double crochet, and then you repeat the shell. Now, I'm going to take the pattern out of this little thingy and talk about it. It is a free pattern. I'll put a link in the description to it. But I'm going to tell you, it's very wordy. She's got a lot of words. I'm going to flash up a section for you so that you can see. Bam. I mean, it almost looks like a paragraph. So I have been going through and trying my best to, like, it's not that it's hard. And at first I thought maybe it was a British pattern because it has double crochets and treble crochets, but it's actually not. It really is American. But I will tell you, even though her pattern is not hard, it is a little overwhelming because there's a lot of words and a lot of abbreviations. But her graph is spot on phenomenal. Now, I've only ever used a graph a couple times, or a diagram. And that's when I usually have to use it with the pattern in order to figure out where I'm going with it. And this time, following this diagram is way easier than reading through all this. And it's really nice because you repeat this section, and if you wanted to make it really long, you could repeat it 5 times. Technically, I think she only asks you to repeat the shells and the double crochets twice. And then she has you do this puff border. I am a little concerned with the puff border because when I was reading her stitch guide, puff V-stitch, And then she's got a 3 in a bracket, and then a puff V-stitch and a 2. I'm not really sure what that's all about. I might just fudge it. But, I mean, when I saw Jenn's from Jenn's Crafty World, it is gorgeous. I was like, that's exactly what I'm using my ombre for. I am so excited. I can't wait to start. Now, today is Saturday. I started this last night, not right after work. Right after work, I finished this up. Then I started this and crocheted for about an hour, and I probably got to about here. Just one more row left of my shell. That's what right about here. And then I got up this morning with Flynn and just crocheted. I'm just starting my second shell section right here. So like I said, it goes real quick. Then I went shopping at Walmart, had to get some Valentine's Day stuff. And I came home, I was like, I need to make a video. So hopefully I'll have this done maybe today. That'd be ideal. That'd be real nice. And then I will get working on my knit crate. I am not going to have another whip until I finish. So this weekend my goal is to finish this shawl and then to finish my knit crate. That's all I'm going to be working on. I did buy a skein of yarn from Walmart. Why? I shouldn't have, but this was so pretty. I bought one of the new Mandala Cakes. And this one, these are the ones that are named after the Greek gods and goddesses mythology. This is Griffin. And this is the color area that I was just loving. This like reddish to the purplish red to the blue. Oh, look at how pretty that is. So I did buy one of these. So my Walmart does now have the new line that have all the Greek god and goddesses names. And then, you guys, I don't know what I was thinking. Last night, I bought some yarn online. So this is why. I made a hat a while ago for one of my coworkers' mother's sister. So technically my coworker's sister. Yes, not her aunt. Anyway, I made a hat. And usually when somebody asks me to make a hat, I do not say, okay, this hat's going to cost you this amount of money. I just make the hat and give it to them. Because I have a lot of yarn. I've been blessed with a lot of yarn. And it takes no time at all to make a hat. So I just whipped her off her hat. She made it. She took it. And guess what? She paid me for it. A little while later, so it was unexpected. So I had $25. Woo! I was so excited. So I came home yesterday, and while I was getting started on my shawl, I was watching Holly from The Proper Pineapple, who I love. And she was talking about some yarn she was ordering from Paintbox. So I ordered some too. Because it was only $2.99 a skein, and I'd never been there before. And so I got a percentage off, and why? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. She was hugging it on. She was hugging it in the video, and I was like, oh, I need to. I should have just came down here and started hugging some of my own yarn. But there she was, and I was like, I need that yarn too. And I bought a bunch of cool colors. She's going to be doing a cowl, speaking of her hugging that yarn. And that's the kind of yarn she's using for the cowl. And I might enter it. I have entered Debbie and Karen's cowl. Debbie, the Canadian Crocheter, Karen, Happiness Homemade. I found the pattern. I've got the yarn. Now I need to get started on what I'm making for theirs. And I thought, well, we'll just see how that goes. I feel like this gives me a little more purpose on what I'm making and why I'm making things. And then the final thing that I have on my list, last time I talked a little tiny bit about Dolly's sweater that she made. Well, Debbie was wearing her sweater, and the second she started her video, I was like, ooh, I like what she's wearing. I knew it was new. And so she talked about it. She showed the pattern. The pattern for that one is actually the same, I think, as the other pattern I just bought. The one that I bought, the Madeline sweater, I think was $2.95 or $2.50. And then this same pattern also is the one that Karen's wearing. But it calls for a chunky yarn. And I'm very new in the chunky world. I've only used it for Laurel's big chunky cowl, big button cowl. And I'm very cautious on the mittens because I just don't know. Sometimes I see something labeled chunky and I think, ooh, that's too chunky. And then I see something labeled chunky and I'm like, ooh, that looks like worsted weight. So I'm afraid when making the sweater, and I'm going to need a lot of yarn to make it, you know, how much chunky is, you know, how's that going to affect the chunkiness, whether it's not a lot or a lot, how's that going to affect the size of the sweater? Because I will be darned if I make something that I can't wear it. So that's also on my list. So check out Debbie. I'll put a link in the description of that video. If you want to make an easy sweater, she said it's a real easy sweater and it looks super cute. Yeah, so that's what I've got going on. I'm making this shawl. I'm going to do the knit crate. I'm going to finish that stuff this weekend before I tackle either the Madeline sweater or the sweater that Debbie's wearing that I can't remember the name of. And my poof is still the same size. Oh, that's another whip. Look at me, you guys. I've got whips all over the place, and I'm not really liking it. This is the exact same condition it was in before. And the reason is because after fudging my numbers on that last round to get him to be the right, I did the next round, and my numbers are off again. I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I just don't know what to do with it. So that is still in this little bag, which is a slippery bag, I'm going to say. So that's all I've got for you today. Working on whips. One finished project, which I should put away, because I feel like I heard my husband getting ready to come down the stairs. And right now I'm hiding it from him. I am not going to let him see it. And that's it. That's all I've got. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Check out Dolly, Moonfire Crafted. Check out Jenn from Jenn's Crafty World. I put a link in the description to both of them. I love their videos. And then I'll put a link in the description to Debbie's video where you can find that chunky sweater. I'll put a link in the description to the pattern that I found for this shawl. This here. I'll put a link in the description to that. And I think that's all, friends. That's all I've got. Until then, happy crafting. Bye.